Coming up, details on the car break-ins on campus, where they're taking place, and recommendations from TUPD.
And an update on San Antonio's street name that may be changing, what is causing the change, and how you can suggest a new name.
All this and more, right now on Newswave. Good afternoon and welcome back to Newswave. Today is Friday, March 27th. I'm Baden Russell.
And I'm Annabelle Lanik.
Trinity University faculty members have not been immune to the rise in AI these past several years. According to the Trinitonian, the impact of an artificial intelligence in the classroom has grown in scale, with numerous professors now utilizing programs and chatbots for analyzing strengths, weaknesses, or research purposes, amongst other things. Visiting assistant professors Jacob Sanchez allows his students to use AI in coursework, while Andrew Hansen, the chair and associate professor of human communication and theater, allows it as a teaching assistant, encouraging it as a supplemental rather than a replacement. Others, like Assistant Professor of Political Science Hye-Yun Kang, takes a firmer stance against it. She avoids it in her courses and does not allow students to use it in assignments, though she does not have a policy against using it for general research. Regardless of their policies, professors and students share the sentiment alike that staff and students should educate themselves on AI and how it should best be used in professional settings.
TUPD has reported more than 4 vehicle-related incidents so far this semester. According to the Trinitonian, TUPD has confirmed that vehicle thefts and burglaries have occurred at different locations on campus. One vehicle burglary where a vehicle is broken into but items inside the vehicle are taken was reported on Old Hildebrand Avenue on January 12th. Another took place inside City Vista parking garage on February 24th. Another vehicle took place on Old Hildebrand Avenue on February 8th, while the fourth of the semester took place just outside of the Bell Center on February 12th. Both stolen vehicles were recovered by the San Antonio Police Department in different states of damage. TUPD Police Chief Paul Chapa, in a statement to the Trinitonian, urged students to, quote, lock their car doors, close their windows, and park in well-lit areas when possible, remove valuables from outside view, and report any suspicious activity to TUPD as soon as possible.
Yesterday, the International Student Club and International Student and Scholar Services put on an event to showcase the sights and sounds and flavors of Venezuela. Newswave reporter Odalys Caballero got our inside scoop on the event. Let's take a look.
The International Student Club, in collaboration with International Student and Scholar Services, hosted a special event on Thursday, March 26th, celebrating Venezuelan culture through traditional food, education, and community engagement. Held from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Tiger's Den, the event welcomed students from across campus to explore the rich culture and flavors of Venezuela. Attendees had the opportunity to sample a variety of traditional dishes, offering a taste of the country's diverse culinary heritage. In addition to the food, students gained a deeper insight into the country through a lecture by Professor Vladimir Rees. His presentation highlighted a recent political development in Venezuela while also touching a notable achievement in sports, providing both historical and cultural context for attendees. To better understand the impact of the event, we spoke with a student organizer who emphasized the importance of creating events like this that foster inclusive spaces on campus.
I'm Ana Paola Mendoza. I'm a senior international business major with a minor in finance, and I'm from Venezuela, making me one of the coordinators from this event. And the reason we wanted to host this for the Trinity community was to show of our culture, being able to expose people to different mindsets as well, and also to inform people about the current situation of the country today and just being able to bring joy to the Trinity community.
In addition to the lecture, the event also featured interactive Kahoot games where participants tested their knowledge for a chance to win Amazon gift cards. These activities added an engaging and competitive element, encouraging students to learn while also having fun. The event created a welcoming environment for students to socialize, meet new people, and build meaningful connections. Events like this highlight Trinity's strong international presence and commitment to cultural exchange. This provides students with the opportunity to engage with cultures from around the world while learning about different foods and gaining awareness on environmental issues of other countries. The International Student Club and International Student and Scholar Services continue to enrich campus life by bringing these events to students. Stay tuned for future events and the opportunity to experience a new culture.
March is Women's History Month, and this year Trinity students celebrated by writing postcards to the important women in their lives. On March 4th, the Student Inclusion and Belonging hosted a Women's Appreciation Station, where students could grab a quick snack, write the name of a woman they appreciated on a whiteboard, or complete a postcard for a woman they admired. One student organizer of the event was interviewed by the Trinitonian, Alyssa Martinez, and said, quote, "Invisible work is often done by women and by people of color that we don't get to recognize. Starting to create the spaces to do that is what makes a difference. I think a place like Trinity deserves to do that, and we are educated enough to do that, so we should," end quote. Coming up, your weekly weather update from our chief meteorologist.
And an update on the fireball seen across the San Antonio sky last weekend.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after this short message.
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy told him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Imagine a glowing green orb screaming across the sky at 10 miles per second. That is exactly what stunned residents from San Antonio to Corpus Christi this past Saturday. According to mysanantonio.com, a 1-ton asteroid fragment, roughly 3 feet wide, scorched the atmosphere before crashing northwest of Houston. The impact unleashed an energy equivalent to 26 tons of TNT, creating a massive sonic boom that rattled windows across the Lone Star State. NASA confirmed the disintegration caused a pressure wave, and Doppler radar shows meteorites falling between Willowbrook and Northgate Crossing. One lucky meteor chaser, Rachel F., said, quote, "I saw the meteor soar through the sky for nearly 4 seconds," end quote. We here at Newswave will keep you updated as more space rock is recovered.
Spring is here, and with that, hopefully comes warmer weather down here in Texas. Our chief meteorologist, Luke Morton, has your update on what to expect this week. Take it away, Luke.
Everyone, and welcome to another weekend. I hope you all had a good week, and let's go ahead and get straight into the weather. I hope you all have been staying hydrated because this past week has been very warm for this time of year, with highs reaching the low 90s all week. Yuck. This weather has been bone dry for a while now, so unfortunately our extreme drought in our area is continuing to worsen. This weekend overall should be very nice. Saturday will be another warm day with a high near 90 and a low in the low 60s. However, there will be a slight cool down heading into our Sunday with a high of around 80 degrees and a low near 60, again under mostly sunny skies. The beginning of next week will be another warm and sunny stretch with highs in the upper 80s and lows in the mid 60s. However, as we begin to start out our April, we could see some more clouds roll in that will knock our high temperatures down into the low 80s. We could even see some rain in our forecast as we head into next weekend, if we even know what rain is at this point. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, a great week next week, and a wonderful long weekend coming up soon. Take care, everyone.
San Antonio is considering changing the name of one of its streets after its namesake has been accused of abusing young girls. Cesar E. Chavez Boulevard, named after political activist Cesar Chavez, who died in 1993, is now a part of the movement to rename sites or stop events in Chavez's name after the allegations were released. According to KSAT.com, the city of San Antonio sent out a release this past Monday asking for residents' input, specifically residents who live along the street. They were also taking suggestions for new names of the street, specifically ones that reflect, quote, history and character, honoring legacies, core values, and practical improvements. Additionally, the city of San Antonio stated that they will not observe Cesar Chavez Day, which is normally on March 31st, and will instead be moving the city holiday to be on April 3rd for Good Friday.
Also, according to KSAT, the Department of Homeland Security hired private contractors to install 17 miles of floating buoys to prevent crossings of the Rio Grande River. These are the first of a planned 536 miles of barriers that the federal government plans to have stretch from the Gulf to several hundred miles into South Texas. DHS waived several environmental laws and issued more than $1 billion in private contracts to private companies to install the barriers. Federal agencies have not made any environmental assessments or flood modeling available to the public. Experts have criticized the secrecy of the project and warned that the buoys could intensify flooding and change the river channel. Mark Tompkins, a scientist who studies the flow of rivers, said that the lack of public documentation violates the, quote, basic professional standard of care, end quote. A Customs and Border Protection spokesperson said, quote, the design requirements for these barriers, set by CBP and implemented by contractors, mandate that they withstand a 100-year flood event, end quote. However, the spokesperson declined to provide any technical information about the design standards.
Coming up, details on the airport crash in New York and an update on mail-in ballots. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside. And then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. Horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. You won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, and being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
As the partial government shutdown continues, the Department of Homeland Security employees, including ICE agents, have been assigned to help TSA workers at airports. Employees of TSA are continuing to work without pay, and DHS employees have been sent to assist them at major airports, including Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, and John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City. Despite the increased number of government officials at airports, things still may not go as smoothly as they did before the shutdown. According to NBC News, ICE agents are not trained to use magnetometers and X-ray machines, and will mainly be used to check for IDs and security lines. However, there is still concern about having untrained agents doing the job of the TSA. Matt Hill, spokesperson for Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, said, quote, Illinois knows firsthand how untrained, masked federal agents instilled fear in our families and caused chaos in our communities.
The Supreme Court on Monday seemed skeptical of states counting late mail-in ballots. The issue in question is whether a single election day should be counted for mailing and receiving ballots. A potential ruling, likely decided in late July, would send at least 14 states scrambling to change their ballot rules right before the 2026 midterm congressional elections. This legal challenge is part of Trump's complaints of fraud. The court heard arguments from a Mississippi case against the Trump administration's case. Justice Samuel Alito voiced concerns of fraud where a late arriving stash of ballots would cause an election to be, quote, radically flipped. However, Mississippi Solicitor General Scott Stewart pointed out that the Trump administration and allies have not submitted a single case of fraud due to late arriving ballots. As this legal battle continues, Alaska's officials, which is one of the potential affected states, has said that they shall continue to prepare according to existing law, stating, quote, if a ruling requires operational changes, we will work through those in coordination with the appropriate state entities to ensure compliance and provide clear information to voters, end quote.
Last Sunday, an airplane collided with a fire truck, killing 2 people and injuring far more. According to AP News, more than 50 people were sent to the hospital after the crash, as investigations into the collision began. That night, a fire truck had been dispatched to check on an airplane that had to abort its takeoff due to a, quote, issue of odor. After being given permission to cross the runway, an airplane controller can be heard frantically telling the fire truck to stop. The controller would later blame themselves, quote, we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up, unquote. Officials say the runway will be closed for several days as authorities sift through the debris for their investigation. America's third largest airport reopened this Monday, but with only one runway active. Due to this and the government shutdown affecting the TSA, lengthy delays have plagued LaGuardia. President Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney both responded to the situation, calling it, quote, terrible and, quote, deeply saddening, respectively. While we at Newswave send our condolences to the families of the pilot and co-pilot who lost a hero.
Still ahead, your Trinity sports update and worldwide headlines. Stick around and we'll be right back.
Hello and good afternoon, fellow Tigers. Welcome back to the weekly sports segment. The 2026 NCAA Swimming Diving Championships concluded on Saturday with the Trinity men's and women's teams finishing 23rd and 21st respectively, marking a stellar ending to the 25-26 season for the Tigers. The Trinity men's and women's track field team both competed at the Texas Lutheran University Invitational and the University of Texas San Antonio Invitational this weekend, recording the first outdoor results of the season for the Tigers. The Trinity softball team finished off an undefeated weekend by sweeping Bethel University with a pair of 3-2 victories on Saturday afternoon. The Tigers led an entire first game and held off the Royals for the opening win. Then Trinity rallied from 1-0 and 2-1 deficits to take the second game and finish off the sweep. Trinity piled up 16 hits and committed just one error across the doubleheader. The number 16 Trinity baseball team finished off its opening Southern Athletic Association series of the year with a 10-0 run rule shutout win against Millsaps College on Saturday afternoon. The 14th-ranked Trinity men's tennis team battled through 2 highly competitive matches on Saturday at the Stag Hen Classic, falling 4-2 to 6th-ranked Johns Hopkins University and narrowly dropping a 4-3 decision to 16th-ranked Pomona Pitzer Colleges. That's about all from me this week and the Trinity sports world. See y'all next week and be sure to keep those paws raised.
As Jonathan mentioned, the Trinity swim and dive team had an exceptional season that recently ended last weekend. Newswave reporter Lily Long gave us more details on their training process for the NCAA championships. Let's take a look.
7 swimmers from Trinity University are headed to the NCAA Division III Swimming and Diving Championships after one of the fastest seasons in program history. The Tigers wrapped up their final practices on campus over spring break before traveling to nationals on Monday. They'll start their competition on the 18th. It will continue for the next 4 days. Through early morning practices and sessions in the weight room, Trinity is prepared to compete at their highest level. According to 5-year head coach Catherine Pruden, the best way to prepare for the national stage is the experience and competition beforehand. Through her years coaching for Trinity, Prudence' focus has been on building confidence in the water through small wins and consistency, while her athletes continue to improve with each meet.
As far as mental preparation for nationals goes, it's really building on everything we've done all year, right? Like we're trying to build confidence throughout every single practice. We gain confidence when we're at like D3 shootout and they're having a chance to race folks who might have seemed scary in the past to them. And just swimming is beautiful in the way where you're in your own lane and you're executing your own race plan and you don't have to be impacted by what any other competitor is doing. And so we're just trying to build confidence by them believing in their race plan and then stepping up to execute it that way.
After months of early practices and strong finishes in the pool, swimmers say the season has been one to remember.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Hester. I'm a freshman. I've been swimming for 6 years, and I swim the 100, 200, backstroke, and 50 free. This season, in one word, would probably be fulfilling. I feel like I had a lot of expectation for myself coming into the season. I feel like I kind of gave the coaches high expectations of myself throughout the season, and being able to reach the goals that I had set for myself and go faster has really been fulfilling and really enjoyable.
But beyond the results in the pool, athletes say the biggest part of the season has been the team itself.
What makes me most proud to be a part of this program is the people, and just everybody's like so nice to each other. I've made some friends that I can see being lifelong friends. So I'd say the people on the team.
This year especially, competition has skyrocketed. Qualifying times get shorter and shorter, and still, Trinity is able to qualify year after year. This is why representing Trinity on the national stage is something athletes say they've worked towards all season.
With the exception of 3 events on the men's side, this is the fastest it's ever been and the most challenging it's ever been to make Division III NCAAs. And so on the women's side, same deal. Like the events our women are in, they had to be even faster than you would have had to be last year to make nationals. And so I'm proud of where we are within the national stage, that in an incredibly deep field, we're still able to be there and be represented by 7 individuals.
Wearing Trinity across my cap means a lot because I've worked so hard to get here, and being able to have the school displayed for everybody in the nation to see is a big honor.
With 7 swimmers qualifying for the NCAA Division III Swimming and Diving Championships, the Tigers now head to the national stage representing Trinity University. After a season of fast times and steady progress, the team will look to cap it off with strong performances at nationals. Reporting for Trinity Newswave, I'm Lily Long.
According to AP News, in response to President Donald Trump's threat to attack their power plants, Iran said it would, quote, completely close the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, which connects the Persian Gulf to the rest of the world, while claiming safe passage for vessels from countries other than its enemies, Israel and the United States. Trump said if Iran didn't open the strait, the U.S. would destroy, quote, various power plants, starting with the biggest one first, end quote. Iran Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf responded that on X that if Iran's power plants and infrastructure are targeted, then vital infrastructure such as energy and desalination facilities critical for drinking water in Gulf nations would be considered legitimate targets and, quote, irreversibly destroyed, end quote. Nearing the end of its 4th week, the war in the Middle East has taken over 2,000 lives. As the war continues, we here at Newswave will keep you updated.
Last week, a power outage in Cuba left millions of people without electricity. According to AP News, around 72,000 people were able to get power back on Sunday. However, that only accounts for a third of the people affected. A major reason for these energy issues has been the threats given by the United States government of tariffs to any other nation who gives oil to Cuba. Additionally, Cuba has less oil than normal because of the power change that occurred in Venezuela, where Cuba used to receive the bulk of its oil. According to the Cuban government, Cuba only produces around 40% of the oil that they need for their power grids, and are reliant on imports for the rest. Consistent blackouts take a heavy toll on the Cuban population, as essential operations can be halted, such as hospitals. However, until Cuba finds an alternate way to get oil, this may be a problem that persists.
Over in England, the new Archbishop of Canterbury was appointed, and for the first time in history, the role is held by a woman. According to AP News, Sarah Mullally, who is 63, was a former cancer nurse and became Chief Nursing Officer for England when she was 37 years old. Shortly after that, she began training for ministry and was named a bishop for the Church of England in 2015, becoming only the fourth woman ever to achieve that ranking. This past Wednesday, Mullally took part in the centuries-long tradition of knocking 3 times on the door of the cathedral, and the ceremony was attended by Prince William, Princess Catherine, and Keir Starmer, who is Prime Minister of the UK. Mullally says she hopes to bring awareness to important issues and controversies in the church, saying, quote, "Light should be shown on all our actions, and the more senior we are, the more light should be shown," end quote. Though her new position doesn't come without controversy from some, there is no doubt that this new milestone marks a new beginning for the Church of England.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today.
Newswave will return after Easter holiday on April 10th. Until then, I'm Annabelle Lanick.
And I'm Baden Russell. Have a great weekend!